What's up, YouTube? Today we'll talk about the difference between investing and collecting. Well, that being said, this is not a new topic at all. I actually made a couple of videos about this not that long time ago, but I actually believe I have a couple of points that I would love to share with you. That's why I'm doing, I would say, almost an update on this topic. In the end, if you end up enjoying the video, feel free to give it a like. So let's go into the topic. Before I need to do my disclaimer, no financial advice, and I think this is more than enough. I don't believe this will be a controversial video, so no financial advice should be enough. Collecting by itself is quite complex, and let's go into the point. History and nostalgia are the main factors to collect something. Example, I collect rookie cards for Lionel Messi because it's part of the history in the biggest sport in the world. So for me, it makes a lot of sense to collect Lionel Messi cards. Apart from that, you guys know that I'm very bullish in the soccer card market, so I don't see a world where the soccer card market ends up growing and the Messi rookie cards do not follow the same trend and actually perform quite better. For me, that makes a lot of sense if you believe in the soccer card market. That's why history for Lionel Messi is so important for me. Actually, even a better example, Mundichrome is actually the first Lionel Messi card ever. In terms of history, is something that I believe is quite amazing, but in the other hand, you can make a very solid argument that I have zero nostalgia for that card. Very logical to understand. That release was in Spain, I live in Portugal, so of course there is no connection in terms of nostalgia with me. But as I said, in terms of collecting, you collect for two reasons: nostalgia and history. Nostalgia is zero on that card, but history is amazing on that card, you can say, but it's actually potentially an amazing investment. That is a different conversation, and I will talk about that a little bit later. But in terms of being an amazing collectible item, in terms of history, I love the Mundichrome card because of that, and you can apply the same logic for almost every rookie for Lionel Messi, to be fair with you. But in the other hand, I also collect stuff for nostalgia reasons. Example, Legends creations from Onslaught Magic the Gathering set. You guys are probably not aware with Magic the Gathering, but it's not that important in my perspective, but I will share the history behind my nostalgia. At one point in time, actually, my grandpa ended up getting very sick, and I was super sad about that situation. For me, it was almost a dark time in my life. What ended up happening is my mother actually saw me in that point and ended up buying a couple of packs from this set, and actually ended up having a lot of fun. So even nowadays, I have great memories from that set because it was almost escape from reality for me, and that's why I still collect those cards nowadays. Nostalgia a lot of times is related with trauma. A lot of people are not aware of this, but I'm sharing with you why I actually love collecting those cards. Do I believe those are a great investment? Look, I don't think so, but for me they represent a time that I end up needing them, so I have good feelings, I have good memories for those cards. Collecting gives you a sense of ownership. The feeling of owning a rare item is almost like a drug to some extent. For that reason, collecting can get so addicted. You guys probably will share this with me. If you find a card that you have been tracking for so long on eBay and you actually make a best offer and the person ends up accepting, that's an amazing feeling, actually very addicted feeling, to be fair with you. That being said, collecting in a good way can be very healthy. A lot of times when life is not going my way and all of us end up facing demons, all of us end up facing struggles in our own lives, and there is no exceptions, sadly is the reality, I found myself looking at my collection. Again, the same what I did as a kid, I still do as an adult. I go to almost a different world, to a world that I know will be there for me. And my collection in a lot of ways is that for me, is an escape from reality. It's something that I enjoy so much that even if I'm facing a problem in my life, look, don't feel bad for me. I'm totally fine, but you guys get the point. I found the alternative escape, something that will make me feel good, and that's why collecting is so good, and for me is actually almost a lifestyle at this point. So, but there is the other side. The other side, I mean both sides, I have to say this, I collect and I invest, but investing is quite complex too. Definition of an investor, a person or organization that puts money into financial schemes, property, etc., etc., could be cars, of course, with the expectation of achieving profit. Very logical and very easy to understand. let me say one thing. Investing sometimes is an excuse to collect. And I know a lot of friends that end up doing this. They tell their wives they are investing in a card. In the end, they are collecting. I know they are related, but you guys get the point. Other times it's not. Smart investors love hype-driven markets. You can ride the trend and profit with that. And in soccer, there is a lot of that. Let's be quite real. Speculators try to predict short-term. Long-term investors care about the big picture. Let me say one thing. If you are a speculator, if you are a trader, a flipper, whatever you want to call it, and if you are a long-term value investor, like I am at this point, we are still doing the same thing. We are still investing. We are still, again, you could be collecting and investing, but you are investing in the market. A speculator, short-term, a value investor, most of the time, again, more than 5 years, for example. Speculators seek abnormally high returns from bets that can go one way or the other. And this is what happened with a lot of new rookies in soccer. You guys see that Musiala is the next Lionel Messi, Bellingham is the next Cristiano Ronaldo. Doesn't matter, random examples, but you guys get the point. Actually, people tend to... people think they are much better at speculating than they actually are. But that's a different story. That will be a different topic for other day, okay? Investors in general use analysis and research, value investors, to be fair with you, to make an informed investment decision. Okay, let's talk about something because I believe with the examples is way easier to explain the concept of investing and in this case speculating, investing, or actually collecting, or actually value investing. So, as I said, this card from Lionel Messi, great card, one of the holy grails for Lionel Messi in my perspective. In terms of lineage, great card, and as I said, in terms of history, amazing card. A lot of amazing fundamentals on a card like this. If you tell me, look, I'm a collector, I love that card, I would understand why. In terms of history, this is an amazing item to collect. If you tell me, I'm a value investor, I love that card, I would agree with you because I'm on the same boat. I'm a value investor and a collector, and I believe that card will have an amazing future. If you tell me, I'm a flipper, I'm a speculator, and I'm buying that card, I'm not sure if that card is the perfect card for you. I actually have a better card for you. For example, 2019 Panini Chronicles Ansu Fati rookie. Let me explain you why. So, I believe this card is history, and I believe this card is potentially history. Let's go to some examples. I do not believe in Ansu Fati collectors. I know a lot of people will get mad at me just because of that. I believe in Ansu Fati speculators, and I believe words are the problem. For example, I do not see how you have nostalgia for a new kid like Ansu Fati. With all the respect, that seems a little bit crazy. How can you have nostalgia for Ansu Fati? The kid ended up not even playing one season. Apart from that, so many injuries. We don't know even if Ansu Fati will end up having a career. That's the reality. I hope he ends up having an amazing career because I wish the best for him, but the reality is that I do not see any history with Fati. Look, when you look at Messi, you can see 4 or 5 Champions League, I believe 4, 6 Ballon d'Ors, I don't know how many La Ligas, great achievements, but when you look at Fati, 0 actually, which is quite crazy. When you put in comparison their prices, I would say. But one thing that I would agree with you is I see a lot of potential history in Fati, but that's me doing what? Speculation. Logical items like Messi rookies are more expensive than Ansu Fati rookies, otherwise the market will be completely crazy. The entry point makes people look for the next Messi, okay? I know a lot of people that cannot afford a Lionel Messi rookie at this point, and they try to look for the next thing. I actually don't believe that's the best way to go in the market. I believe you should look, for example, at second-year Messi cards that you can potentially afford, instead of playing in this type of dangerous game of these new rookies that can be amazing or actually making you lose almost the entire investment. And that's the reality. A lot of people are not aware of this at this point yet. Let me say another thing. When you look at this card, as I was saying, in terms of history, is 0. I'm sorry, but there is no history for Ansu Fati at this point. But I agree with you. If you are correct, and this is a big if, of course, if Ansu Fati end up having an amazing career, again, not a good career, an amazing career, that card will actually own a lot of history 10, 20 years from now. But you are already buying that with that in mind. Again, you are speculating, I risk, I reward. Potentially, history for Ansu Fati will be better than SUAREZ? Really? That's a question I actually have for you guys. So, I end up choosing the main rookie for Suarez and the main rookie for Ansu Fati. You can debate me that the main rookie for Ansu Fati is other card. You can debate me the main rookie for Suarez should be other card. In the end, this is just a matter of opinions. Those two cards are very popular for each player, okay? So in the case of Luis Suarez, I end up choosing the 2006 Magic International box, and for the Ansu Fati, I choose the 2019 Panini League Mega Cracks. As you can see, the pops are not even close. This is 1k, more than 1k, and this is 22. So we are completely talking about, in terms of awareness, a card that actually have a lot of awareness in the market. Suarez is very popular, but his rookie cards, his rookie material is still very underground in my perspective. So I end up choosing the top PSA 8 that end up selling for Luis Suarez, and that card was, I would say, almost 100 bucks. And at the peak of the market, a PSA 8 for Ansu Fati sold for $300. Right now, I believe sells around the same as the Suarez, which is still quite crazy to think about. But that was the reality not that long time ago. So you can tell me, whoa, that's actually quite crazy. So people are actually speculating that, and if you guys don't understand this, you guys are not aware of the market, to be fair with you. People are speculating that Ansu Fati will be better than Suarez. And my question is, do you guys really think that? Guys, Suarez is top goal scorer ever for Uruguay, 5-time La Liga, 1 Champions League, 1 Copa America, 2 times Golden Boot, and many, many more trophies. So you can say, yeah, but I believe Ansu Fati will be actually better. That seems so risky to think, to be fair with you. Look, I cannot tell you you are wrong. Only time will tell, but I think most likely, if mathematical, I would say you are wrong at this point, or most likely you end up being wrong in the future. Not at this point, because Ansu Fati still have a lot of time to prove his talent, and Ansu Fati could actually be an amazing player, but never go to the Suarez level, because Suarez is actually almost GOAT level in terms of being one of the best strikers in the last 20 years. So there is a lot of things to consider, and this should put you in perspective that this, in my perspective, is, again, if you are a value investor, this card is amazing. If you are a speculator, this card probably is better for you, because if Ansu Fati ends up scoring 10 goals in the next 5 games, people will go completely crazy for his cards, even if that will not translate in him winning titles or actually having an amazing career in the long run. So, to finish this, final ideas. People care more about Fati than Suarez. Actually, this is one of the things that a lot of people on Instagram tell me. Yeah, Suarez is great, but people care much more about Fati. People told me this. Kante is amazing, but Camavinga have more personality. Look, all of that can be true, and that's probably true, but in the long run, that does not matter, okay? And people do not understand this for some reason. Fati, unless Fati goes to Messi levels, because the price-in effect on Fati is already very strong, and that's possible, but do you really want to speculate on that? Think about that, okay? If you are a flipper, great. This video is not even for you. But if you are a value investor, come on, Fati is not the card to be in. Again, if your entry point was 2 years ago, where the card was $10, that will be a different conversation. But right now, I don't think you can play the value investing game with Ansu Fati. You are playing the speculating game with Ansu Fati, which is still acceptable in my perspective. Most people, and this is a critique I make to a lot of content creators actually, never traded big cards or had exposure in other collectibles. And that's why I tend to believe, because I see a lot of influencers talking about the new Prism set, the new Mosaic set, the new Top set, when they don't understand the real value probably, or the fundamentals you should teach your own audience, in my perspective, should be the ones I'm actually telling you right now. Again, it's my perspective on the market. I want the best for you guys. And look, if one thing that 20 years of collecting end up telling me, I would say, is, look guys, speculating is super risky. It's almost the same, for me, is in the same category as gambling at one point, okay? Again, my situation is actually quite difficult, and let me share with you why. In one hand, I have people calling me out close and main investor, that I do not understand the new generation, and in the other hand, I actually have people that are telling me stop talking about blue chip cards, because I still want to have a solid, even a solider position in the market. Actually, there is people that think I should not share almost the secrets with my audience, because look, I still want to buy SUAREZ cards, I still want to buy Messi Mundicromo cards, and if you keep exposing those cards, that will be bad for me. So I actually got a little bit of faith from both sides, which is quite crazy to think about. In the end, guys, I know most of you guys are with me, and if you guys are with me, I will always be very transparent with you. So the last bull run was so crazy that people got a very wrong perspective of the collectibles markets, okay? In the sense that, look, at one point you bought a card from $10, you sent to PSA for $10, and you make $200, and that's not a reality anymore, but was the reality not that long time ago. And there is a lot of people that end up actually making money with cards in the last year, and actually they end up coming in the last year and they make money in the last year, but they have no experience when the market is in a downtrend. They have no experience when things go wrong, and that's why I believe in the next 1, 2, 3 years a lot of people will end up leaving the hobby, especially a lot of content creators, because they will not back up what they are saying right now. Again, maybe I'm wrong on that, it's just my perspective. You guys need to be very careful. So, conclusion, guys, collect what you love, price is what you pay, value is what you get. This was a short video, but I thought it was a very important one, because sometimes collecting and investing are very different, but they are very similar as long you understand entry points, as long you understand actually the definition of value. I always talk about value, because if you understand value, that's almost the entire job done in my perspective. Guys, have a nice day, give it a like to the video if you end up enjoying the video, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye.